Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn, and welcome to another episode of The Chamber Within. I want to know, what does the term high vibes mean to you? Like, actually. Now, as I have come to understand it, what having a high vibration means through living and reading, and then, of course, more intentional living, I learned it's not necessarily about being happy. To have a high vibe is about having dominion over your emotional state. Having dominion is the choosing and not reacting, being stable enough to even know when you feel off because it is outside of your signature state, or rather, out of the alignment you normally feel on a typical day. Now, when I am not feeling my greatest, the quickest way for me to feel better and get ahead of my emotional body is to either listen to music and dance or cook. Now, I'm not a chef by any means. I just love to cook or bake. I love expressing myself through creating things to eat. Then, of course, I love to eat my creations. Usually cookies or cakes or whatever I can throw together last minute that'll make me feel better. The reason I bring up high vibrations, or high vibes for short, is because I found myself having a down or low vibrational kind of day. I had the day off today, but I was thinking about tomorrow's potential issues, and of course, things that happened earlier in the week. I found myself thinking about everything except for my wonderful day off that I should have been actually enjoying. Once I realized that my energy was low because of what I was doing or thinking and not appreciating my time away from my job that I was dreading, I got up to cook. I'm not sure why, but cooking for me is such an immersive experience that I enjoy it from beginning to end. Additionally, once I am in motion, I personally begin to feel better by moving around instead of, say, rotting on a sofa. I figure if nothing else, this was a better use of my time, and then it hit me. I am the master of my fate and captain of my soul, right? I should probably start acting like it. I've often heard it said that depression pulls our attention toward the past, while anxiety pulls it towards the future. Whether that's universally true or not, I noticed I was bouncing between yesterday and tomorrow while completely missing out on today. In other words, I was failing to seize the day, to carpe my diem. These aren't just feel good words put together to create a cool sounding phrase. It's Latin, baby. This is very old advice and helpful to those of us experiencing the human condition, which is not only to think, therefore we are, but to constantly overthink, which can create our own mental suffering. Boom, picture this. You're at a party and you're standing alone, and someone comes along. For some reason, they start small talk with you and they begin to pour out their heart to you. They begin to sob, and you offer your best advice. And after about an hour or so, they say, "Thank you. I feel so much better now that I've gotten that out." And later on, after the party, you go on about your life, perhaps thinking, no more than, "I wish that person well. They seem to have a few issues, but I'm sure it'll work itself out." Versus, you're at a party. Someone makes eye contact with you. They come over and start small talk. And just like the last scenario, they trust you enough to open up. However, this time, you begin to cry along with them. This is what I mean about having dominion over your emotional state. Being sturdy within the self to avoid dipping down into a state you do not prefer for so long that you end up getting stuck there. Now, let's remove the party altogether and imagine you are alone making coffee. It's quiet, and then a thought walks into the room and grabs your attention by saying, "Hey," and then begins to riddle you with thoughts of doubt and dread. What if none of this works? What if you never leave that job? What if no one ever listens? What if, what if, what if? Notice something. The thought never proved anything. It simply asked for your attention. Whether it stayed or not depends on if you've entertained it. Maybe high vibes were never about feeling good all the time. Perhaps they were really about becoming steady enough that every passing thought no longer earns your belief, your attention, your constant scenario and storyline building, which actually pulls you deeper into the feeling, into that reality. High vibration isn't about emotional perfection, it's emotional stewardship. Being self aware helps. Yeah, noticing your thoughts takes practice, and maintaining a high vibe is not so important as noticing the dip. As long as you remember your way back to home base when you need to. Coming back to home base where you're marked safe from emotional instability, safe from missing out on a completely fine day, and safe from torturing yourself with things that are not happening right now. That was my high vibe lesson of the day. And so I ask you, when you find yourself in concern and worry, how do you pull yourself out of it? What is your high vibrational trick? I'd love to hear it. You can email me at thechamberwithin@yahoo.com. You can leave me a voice note at speakpipe.com/the chamber voice line. Thanks for joining me this week, and I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.